You say you be Cunning, man.
Sharp guy. Now. Me say I know, like I already know what he's doing. Like,
I
I'll
won't
just
lie.
keep short.
I
Cannot
love
take
it.
anything.
Yeah. Bro, do you?
It takes so
yeah.
much.
Do you?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Azine Williams. How are you all doing? Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are fine. If you're new to this channel, kindly click on the subscription button. Click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Okay guys, so they had their pool party last night, which was more like a couples hangout. Yes guys, because everywhere you look, I mean, there are ships, one house, almost 1 million ships. The whole place was surrounded by ships. Omo, if you are not in a ship, you're gonna be looking like Cheesy last night. Even though Cheesy later said that the reason why he was moody was because of, not being able to get any money from the 10 million naira that Quidas presented to them to win in the tax they gave them yesterday. Yes, guys. So talking about the tax, they were divided into various teams. At the end of the day, it was Hemis's team and Adekule's team that got to win out of the money. So practically, Quidas presented them with 10 million naira. It's now for them to stake and also to answer questions correctly and all that. At the end of the day, Hemis's team got to win, I think, 2.2 million naira, and Adekule's team got to win a 1.750 or so. Yes, guys, it was an intense tax. Even at some point, myself, I was confused. I didn't know all this staking, 90% stake, 50% stake, almost. I didn't understand it, but kudos to the both teams. They did great. Almost, imagine if somebody actually won the whole 10 million. Ha! I mean, it would have been wonderful to see in the Big Brother Naija house. Anyways, back to the party. The party started off on a very boring and tiring note. Even the housemates themselves were complaining of the music being too low. But then again, when the music kind of picked up, we saw a lot of couples. I mean, on one hand, there is Chomsy and Elo Swag. The other, we see Bella and Shex. Even though at some point, in the beginning, Bella actually danced by herself. But later on, of course, they went into the pool, Bella and Shex. There was Fina and Groovy. And looking at Fina and Groovy, I mean, Groovy looked like hyper yesterday, like his energy was on a 99.9%, but the high priestess herself, Fina, looks like moody. I mean, her energy was like on a 15%, if you ask me. And then there is Chichi and Deji, who was looking like he didn't even want to be caught with Chichi at all. I mean, there was even Giddy Fire and Rachel. Imagine Giddy Fire claiming Rachel with his full chest. There was also a social distancing happening between Dotun and Daniella. Yes, guys. I mean, Dotun noticed this. Even Daniella was, spending more time with Brayann. Brayann was actually dancing with Doyin in the pool, but I think somebody said something that upset him, so he had to leave the pool and come sit down with Daniella, and they gisted the night away. Of course, Diana was dancing on her own. I saw Doyin later dancing with Adekule, even Adekule carrying her up with the help of Dotun. I'm like, really? What exactly is going on here? Run for your life, Doyin. Like seriously, it was the party was just there, nothing much, no, it was not giving what it's supposed to give. It was just giving a couple hangouts, like basically. So if you're not in a shape, belle for you. Anyways, away from that, so when the party finished, so they were asked to go into the house. That was when some of the interesting things happened. First, there was Brayann complaining to Doyin, about how people always has this narrative that whenever they see him with a girl, then automatically he has something for the girl. I think he was saying that it was Shegs that said that. Yes, I think Shegs was like, okay, maybe Doyin has feelings for was his name Brayann, or maybe Brayann has feelings for Doyin. Now, talking about this whole Brayann issue, it was not just Shegs, because I overheard him telling Allison that it looks like Brayann has feelings for her. Yes, and this was at the party. I'm like, really? And at some point he even talked about the whole Adekule issue. I'm like, what is going on? Is Hemis jealous or something? I do not know. Now, the second incident, of course, I mean, Shegs and Bella having their normal fight. Like, at this point, Bella is exhausted. Like, what's the point of always, doing something that will upset somebody, then at the end of the day, coming back to apologize? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Apology without change of actions is totally rubbish. Why were they even fighting food? That Bella wanted to check to see if there was tozo. I don't know what they call tozo in English, I beg. If there was tozo in the suya, that is the barbecued meat, but Shegs is trying to keep that one for later, and he made her not to open it. And the food was not even like, it was, how do I put it? They had like two different packs of food, but that was, I think, from Shegs' own, and Shegs refused her to check on her own or to open her own. So that was like the wahala that they had. Now, away from that, Daniella finally served Dotun breakfast. In fact, it was a cold breakfast that was served at dinner. Yes, guys. So Daniela was, to me, very, very touchy with Adekule. In fact, she even mentioned to Deji that it looks like Adekule also has feelings for her. I've noticed that she and Adekule chat a lot, but I don't understand this thing she's telling Deji Sha, or she's even, I think she even told Alison, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, guys, I'm like, okay, like, why is Daniela going all, like, telling different people, like, telling Adekule about, the whole thing between she and Dotun, telling Alison, even looking for counseling, from Deji. I mean, little does she know that it's actually Deji that was pushing Dotun, to put or apply more pressure into this relationship. Well, last, she took Adekule's advice and talked with Dotun, where she made it known that, okay, it can't actually work between us, and that is that. Yes, once again, Dotun has been served premium breakfast. Now, another thing that caught my attention last night was Deji and Chichi. I told you, Deji is like acting like somebody that doesn't even want to be found near Chichi. And Deji and Daniela always has the best conversations, basically. So Deji and Daniela were having a talk, and Chichi comes in there and like, okay, she wants Deji to come with her or something like that. And Deji on his own is like, he really doesn't want to go. And that's when, Chichi was like, you know what, I give you guys 5 minutes and all that. And 5 minutes turned to like hours because Deji did not still come after that 5 minutes. I'm like, when will this sweetheart learn that this guy is not that into her? Like, it's really sad to watch. And when with this guy, I mean, gather of enough courage and tell her basically, that he's not interested. I mean, looking back at the conversation that happened with Doyin earlier in the day, you could tell that Deji really doesn't send Chichi like that. I mean, for him to even tell Doyin that nobody asked anybody out, so practically we are going to be seeing a whole lot of, did I ask you out, maybe at the reunion or sometime later, because it's sad. It's really sad. Like, Chichi is in that relationship all by herself. Now, talking about Deji and Daniela, they were later joined by Brayann, where they had this very interesting talk, if you ask me. And of course, they talked about Beauty. Beauty's stay in the house, that she was a real bad bitch. That they came into the house on a Saturday, and on a Sunday, Beauty has already like started being territorial around Groovy. Daniela cited one day that Beauty came at her, telling her that her eyes, like she should remove her eyes from Groovy and all that. Like, Beauty actually like took charge of Groovy. They cited instances where, Beauty would make Groovy, dress the bed and all that. And they were really talking about, their fellow level 2 housemates. And then Brayann said something about Groovy, saying that Groovy is a cunning man, that this whole thing he's doing with Fina, that it looks like an act, basically. And all three of them agreed. And Daniela was like, it takes a lot of grace and a lot of, dedication and stuff like that to pull off something like that. And Deji actually said he knows that it's like he's doing all this, because of something, practically, that he knows. That's why he has not called him, for a conversation yet, because he knows he's a guy man and all that. Now, looking at all these things they said, what do you guys think? Do you think that genuinely that Groovy is actually doing all these things that they accused him of doing? Let me know in the comment section. Brayann went ahead to let us know that Fina's roommates, from the previous level 2 has all been evicted, and that the only person or the only thing that is keeping Fina sane in the house is Groovy. Wow, that's actually a sad thing. Like, that's really, really sad. And now knowing that the person that is even keeping her sane is not being real with her, is actually using her for the game. Wow. Anyways, guys, I mean, these are some of the things that happened last night. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. On that note, guys, I say thank you so very much for being part of my channel. If you've not already subscribed, kindly click on the subscription button, click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Until I come your way again, I remain your darling girl, Azine Williams. Have yourself a beautiful, wonderful day ahead.